Ah, yes. High school football season is upon us. It's only been months of anticipation for anything live sports-wise, but here we are, Jason. Fall feels right, at least for the time being.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, I'm just hoping that everybody plays it safe out there. And right now, the players have been leading the way for the student bodies of keeping it safe. And I hope that continues. And I know there's going to be some hiccups. Don't get worked up on the hiccups, guys. We're going to get through it. Week by week, we're going to get through the season, and we're going to be right here with you, giving you all the highlights and analysis you can handle. And
regardless, we're going to enjoy what we get when we get it. Probably more than we've ever enjoyed it before.
And you guys are too, and the players are too.
Right. Jay Elson, Jason Andera tonight in the Midco SN studios, talking about all the action between North Dakota and South Dakota. Jody Norstead will join us here in a bit as well. And speaking of Jody Norstead and North Dakota high school football,
he's running all over Fargo.
Busy night for him as he had the call for a wild one up there at Fargo Shanley tonight. The Deacons get past Fargo South by kind of 50-34 in a game that aired live right here on Midco Sports Network earlier tonight. The other score you see there, West Fargo Cheyenne, an easy time with Grand Forks Red River. 34-9.
A couple ESD games playing each other. We're used to the WDA ESD matchups early on. They took those out these first 2 weeks, so right into the conference play.
Not going to see it this year. Fargo Davies gets a 42-28 win over Grand Forks Central tonight. And West Fargo sneaks one out against Fargo North.
Peyton Jancy, a big touchdown. I'm sure we'll check that out later. But West Fargo, a tough one with Fargo North. Not usual to see that.
Maybe the Spartans going to surprise some people. Who knows? Mandan all over Minot tonight, 33-14. And Bismarck doing Bismarck things early, 49-7, the final in that one over Williston. Jamestown gets a 28-21 win over Dickinson. And a game coming up Saturday night, Bismarck Century and Bismarck Legacy will tangle.
Nationally televised. You don't
how about
get that too often. Tune into ESPN2 for that one.
Andrew Langang, a highly touted prospect, going to be on display on the national stage coming up tomorrow night from Bismarck. Hillsboro-Central Valley, a 19-0 win over Grafton tonight. And then Kindred thumps Northern Cass 49-6. Beulah, a perennial power up there in the state of North Dakota. The Miners 50 on the board tonight as they win it by 30 over Watford City, 50-20. St. Mary's, a 49-7 win over Devil's Lake as well. Hatton-Northwood couldn't get on the board tonight against a potent Langdon Area-Edmore-Munich Cardinal team, Jason, 58-0.
Oh, we know how good this team is.
Yes.
And they came out last week and thumped the competition. Same thing this week.
Thompson's been awfully tough here over the past several years, Jason, and they look it to start against another team in Park River FL that traditionally has been pretty good here, especially of late. 46-14, though, the final. The Tommies get that one in convincing fashion. And we got the number 2 ranked Velva Aggies over Harvey 16-6. Harvey-Wells County. Thank you, Jason. And Dickinson Trinity, a 10-point win over Shiloh Christian tonight. 5th-ranked Titans getting that one 24-14.
Yeah, Shiloh Christian moving up to Class A over the last couple of years, and it's a little tougher. They'll get their feet under them, though. They'll get going here pretty soon.
A back-and-forth affair there between Mayport CG and Wyndmere-Lidgerwood, 48-42 the final. That's a lot of offense in that one. Be curious to see some of the final numbers from the offensive category.
I believe we have highlights of that one.
On that one, and some highlights coming up later. Linton-HMB, which is Linton-HMB and a whole bunch of other schools now in an emergency co-op, as we heard Jody Norstead report just a couple of weeks ago. Well, they look pretty good tonight. 54-14, a winner over South Border. That's it for our North Dakota scores for tonight. How about the state of South Dakota? And again, we're taking this from the top of the pecking order on down. And the biggest game of the week coming up tomorrow night here on Midco SN. Number 1 versus number 2 in Brandon.
Can't wait for that one. We've got a couple new quarterbacks that'll be going after it. be on the call with Alex Heinert tomorrow night on that one, so tune into Midco SN for that live action.
Meanwhile, let's not forget about the defending state champs here. Of course, O'Gorman coming off their first ever 11 AAA title, 43-0. They get the winner over Rapid City Stevens. It was convincing. I saw that one in person, and you will see the highlights here coming up in just a bit. Again, 43-0 for the defending state champs over Rapid City Stevens. Another big one coming up Saturday. Harrisburg will play host to Rapid City Central. The Tigers, Jason, you like this team. They're young, but boy, are they talented.
They are loaded, and I can't wait to see Jacob Knuth and see what he can do. But people forget there's a senior quarterback on Rapid City Central that's pretty good too, Cole Meisman, and they've got a totally different offense this year. No more double wing, single wing, whatever they call it. It's they're going to totally air it out this year. It'll be fun to see.
At both of those Rapid City high schools as well this year. Sioux Falls, Washington, Jason coming in, a new coach there as well in Ryan Evans, and he starts off his tenure with the Warriors with a hard-fought win over Aberdeen Central. This was a tough game for Sioux Falls, Washington tonight, and they squeak it out 28-21.
Got highlights of that one coming up and some good aerial show there.
Another Saturday game coming up on the docket. Sioux Falls Lincoln will host Watertown on Saturday night over there at Howard Wood Field. And the defending champion Pierre Governors.
They got off to a slow start. We don't have highlights of this, so I'm going to recap it quickly. Their sophomore quarterback, Lincoln Keenholtz, in 15-25, 178 yards, but it was McGuire Raskey's four touchdowns that I think made the difference.
Of course, they're filling some holes up there in the capital city this year after what was one of the more dominant teams we will probably ever see in that class. They did okay against Sturgis tonight, 37-0 the final in that one. The Yankton Bucks getting off to a good start here tonight.
Yeah, they've got Corbin Soler back, who was out to injury last year. They moved Trevor Fitzgerald to quarterback, and the offense got clicking. That was big. And then in Mitchell Douglas, I think Douglas is going to be one of those improved teams in AA. This was much closer early on. Parker Phillips went on a tear, though, once again, and poured on the extra juice that they needed to win this one.
Colonels really ran the ball well tonight, 55-28 the win over Douglas. Brookings, a 32-23 win over Huron. Is that a bit of a surprise, maybe?
Surprised me. Again, new coach at Brookings, a whole new offense, but they got it done.
We talked about the 1-2 matchup there at 11 AAA. How about the 11A game between Canton and T area tonight? T jumped on them early a little bit on the road against the Seahawks. They made it respectable late, but it was 27-21 the final. We will have highlights of that game coming up tonight, but a good 1-2 matchup right out of the gate. Between T area and Canton tonight. Another good one in Dell Rapids.
This looked like he was going to get away from away from Lennox for a while. They hung tough, and I think that's a sign of things to come because, you know, they're not playing their best ball in August. They're going to keep getting better, and Dell Rapids, though, does get the job done.
Team that gets the job done on a regular basis and has for a long time. West Central back into that conversation this year a little bit, Jason.
Much more dangerous this year.
42-19 over Custer.
Yeah, Vince Benedetto's got that team going in the right direction.
The Madison Bulldogs, an interesting night for them as they headed down to North Sioux City and knock off the 5th-ranked Dakota Valley Panthers.
I believe they got there late.
Yeah.
So it was a late start. They started their new quarterback, and every year, you know, they have a pretty good quarterback lining up in Madison.
Not a bad tradition up there.
And Nate Rickey taking that job on today. He actually ran for 2 touchdowns, threw for another, and somehow outlasted Dakota Valley. Tommy Nickel, by the way, of Dakota Valley, 170 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 2 almost 80-yard touchdowns for that kid.
Meanwhile, in Colton tonight, defense ruled the evening.
We've got a highlight or two, literally.
Literally, Sioux Valley, a 12-6 win on the road at Tri-Valley tonight. And again, highlights of that one coming up in a little bit tonight. Out west, the best matchup of the night, no question, was Winter and St. Thomas More. And again, Jason, you mentioned one game earlier that was closer than the final score might indicate. This is certainly one of those.
If you watch the first 3 quarters, I mean, this was a 1-score game. And then 20 unanswered. We'll get highlights of that, though.
36-7 the final. Winner over St. Thomas More tonight. Elk Point-Jefferson, a much improved team. A lot of starters back.
10.
They get a big test right out of the gate at Bridgewater Emory Ethan, and the Seahawks did not take it easy on them.
Yeah, this Seahawks team just reloads younger players that doing the same things that those playmakers were doing last year.
34-6 the final in that one.
How about
a
this?
scary moment tonight for the Viborg Hurley Cougars, but it turns out it's maybe not that bad.
Not that bad. Chase Mason went down first quarter, knee injury. You get pretty worried when you see that. He's probably the best quarterback in the state. He was able to walk normally with very little pain at the end of the game, so that's good news. They put up 46 points, and ironically, their coach, Rob Kessler, told me at the beginning of the year, he said, you wouldn't believe how good our backup quarterback is. Well, he came out and showed up tonight. Blake Schroedermeyer threw for 226 yards and 4 touchdowns in a backup role. That's kind of scary. It's kind of scary, Jay.
It's the last thing any of those other teams want to hear is that their backup quarterback is that good and that the Cougars, in the event Chase Mason has to miss time, which we're hopeful that he does not, the Cougars are going to be fine. They win it 46-0 over Arlington Lake Preston tonight. 70-0. Meanwhile, Levin McIntosh.
Sorry, we're getting into preseason mode here. I keep so excited I just want to talk over you. Cody Thompson, 217 yards passing, 77% completion, 4 touchdowns. Huge night for Lemon. And I tell you what, this team is a team to watch in 9AA this year. Viborg Hurley and the rest of those top 9AA teams better watch out for the Cowboys.
Jason Andera, excited about high school football. Hard to believe. Canastota Freeman, a 14-12 winner over DeSmet tonight, Jason. And this DeSmet team, you were wondering about them. How could they hang with Canastota Freeman? Well, we got a great answer. They were winning a lot of this game tonight.
They pretty much led the whole game until the last score of the game when Canastota Freeman pulled it out. I'm really looking forward to both of these teams. They might see each other again come playoff time.
Langford area might be tough again. 41-12 tonight.
That's another team.
Area.
8 starters back on offense. Colin Fry, your quarterback, getting it done. And that's a good Faulkton team. They were receiving votes in the last poll, and Langford just made him look silly.
Whew. Hey, a whole lot of scores,
quick PSA. Do you see these helmets?
Look at this.
Anybody out there who wants to see your helmet up here, we'll rotate them in. If you send them in, just direct message me or Jay, and we'll figure it out.
You know, the one way you're not going to get your helmet on the set is if you don't send it in.
That's right. That's right.
So, hey.
But thank you to all these teams.
Send it in. Well, we went through all the scores, Jason. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
Yes.
This is the fun part. And we're going to start off in Sioux Falls tonight. Rapid City, Stevens, and O'Gorman. Let's look at head coach Michael Scott in
World's
his first
greatest
game.
boss. Right there.
This was a rough night for Rapid City Stevens tonight, Jason. They botched the pump there. Chase Harris recovers for O'Gorman. Led up to a Knights field goal to get them on the board. And next offensive play for the Raiders, more trouble. Michael Shea jumps on top of it this time. And O'Gorman makes them pay again. Tegan Schlimgin faked me out too. That's how good the fake was, Jaddy. 17 yards right up the gut for the score, 10-0.
We were wondering who the playmakers would be for O'Gorman this year, and we thought, Schlimgin was in there, but shows it with his legs there.
Are you picking up a trend here? Stevens' issues continued. Another bad snap. Harris recovers. And then what do we see? Ensuing drive. Schlimgin to the air this time. Backside screen to Tanner Payton. 12-yard touchdown. It was 17-0. O'Gorman at the end of the first quarter. And they picked up and added to it in the second. Sam Stukel. We saw some of this in the red zone again tonight with him back behind center. Keeps it for a 13-yard touchdown. That made it 27-0 in favor of the Knights. The defense wanted to get in on the action as well. And this guy right here, Jed Jansen, was running for his life in that first half. Gets tripped up by Matthew Peters for the safety. O'Gorman led Stevens 29-0 at the half, Jason. They go on to win it by a score of 43-0.
That's a good sign for a team that, usually finishes a lot stronger than they start, for them to get out to a start like that.
All right, Sioux Falls, Washington began the Ryan Evans era at Howard Wood Field tonight by hosting Aberdeen Central. No score in the first. Max Thompson finds Malcolm Johnson, and he's going to do the rest. 36 yards for the score.
Everything I heard from the players that I talked to say Max Thompson looks really good this year, strength-wise and arm-wise.
He can spin it. Golden Eagles, though, strike right back. Sam Rolfs deep, and he's going to find Hunter Payson. It's a 50-yard gain on third down, and just a few plays later, it's a 1-yard QB keeper for Rolfs, so we're tied at 7.
Aberdeen replaced a lot of players on this team, but the youth coming up, they look pretty talented.
How about that throw right there? Threading the needle. Rolfs to the Hunter Lemur. And the Golden Eagles have the lead in Sioux Falls 14-7, but Max Thompson.
That's your man right there, Tyus.
Tyus Hansen hauls it in, 12-yard touchdown. It was 14 all at the break. Sioux Falls, Washington was in for a dogfight in this game, went all the way to the end. 28-21 was the final. They survive in Ryan Evans' debut. Actually, we're going to get a look.
Here is this extra play. We picked it up on the stream, but Thompson puts a beauty up there, and Hansen comes down with his second touchdown of the night. Big day for Tyus Hansen.
And get a look at those final numbers. Thompson, 13 of 19, 223 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, Max Thompson Jr., you know, playing sophomore, or being a sophomore quarterback in the Metro is tough. And he got through that last year, won a playoff game, and this year comes back, starts out with a really good night.
All right, let's move it down to Canton tonight. T-Area making the trip south. And these are two teams ranked 1-2, Jason.
1-2.
And this was a heavyweight fight. And although it was early, T kind of taking control of this game.
Yeah, Austin Lake back for his second year at quarterback for T. They actually have a little bit of ability to throw the ball this year. There's one that put the Titans up 14-7 later in that drive. 3rd and 14 here. Oh, that was Jacksonville, excuse me. This is fourth quarter. Seahawks trying to mount a comeback. Seth Peterson has plenty of time, finds Jaden Dominique for the touchdown, and just like that, the Seahawks back in this game. But the very next Titan possession, Austin Lake puts things away, and that's what you get with a quarterback with a little bit more confidence than he had last year. And they got it done, 27-14 at that point.
That was a great battle down there in Canton, and as you said, respectable comeback attempt there by Canton. It was down a couple of scores early in this game, Jason. Seth Peterson ends up throwing 3 touchdown passes, but it comes in a losing effort because T survives 27-21
Yeah, it's hard to knock either of these teams after their 1-2 rankings. You don't really know, what you're going to do with them in the rankings. I can't punish them too bad, so we'll see.
All right, let's keep her moving. We're going to go to Tri-Valley now. Sioux Valley and Tri-Valley. Jason, you were at this game. Lots of defense or lack of offense?
There was a lot of defense. I think there was 2 first downs in the entire first half. There's a sack right there on 4th down, which gives Tri-Valley an awesome chance, the only chance in the red zone all night. And on 4th down, they go for it and turn it over on downs.
Yeah, they're unable to capitalize on that, so it was scoreless at the half. Right out of the break, though, Sioux Valley gets it going. 4th and 5, Jackson Schiller going to extend this drive as he gets around the edge, gets a first down carry into Mustang territory, deep into Mustang territory, and that helps set up this. McCade Reg powers it in from 2 yards
That's
out.
Teamwork, folks.
6-0. Cossacks, they're going to win a tight one. 12-6 over Tri-Valley.
He gets the credit for that touchdown, but you see the push by 55. We got to give him, I should have looked up his name. Got to give him the shout out. That was huge. But they scored a couple touchdowns. Tri-Valley at the very end scored 1, so Sioux Valley played a much better second half.
12-6 the final, and that one Cossacks off to a 2-0 start this year. Let's go to Bridgewater now, and Elk Point Jefferson. 10 starters back, as you said, Janny. This is a team on the rise, one to watch, certainly. We get the pitch back here to Andrew Neerman, and this is it to Riley Schmitz for the touchdown.
The All-State Riley Schmitz, known for his running, that time snuck behind the defense on the trickery.
Not a lot of great news after that, however, for Elk Point Jefferson. Sam Hofer coming back for BEE. It's Kobe Kaiser. Fumbles it, but Eric Gustafson there to pick it up. And he's going to take it all the way in for the touchdown. How about that right spot, right time?
I'll tell you what, Bridgewater Emmer Ethan is well coached, and they take advantage of those situations where some teams, they won't make the big play out of that.
Flip the quarter, second quarter now. Hofer guns it over the middle. Riley Schultz on a nice play deep into Elk Point Jefferson territory. He would find Gustafson later on into the end zone, his second score of the first half.
And Eric Gustafson looks like he's going to be a major part of this offense.
The offense had it clicking at that point, but the defense steps up. Big play right before the half. Quarterback trying to throw it away. And there to step in front of it is Schultz. He's going to take it to the house. Pick six, 27-6. Bridgewater Emory Ethan led it at the half. And as we go to the scoreboard, they win it 34-6. A couple of touchdowns there for Kaiser, for Gustafson, and the Seahawks are 2-0.
Yeah, I really feel like the confidence factor weighed heavily in this. POINT-JEFFERSON hasn't won a big game yet. They traded touchdowns early, but Bridgewater came in with a lot more confidence, and they showed it in the second half.
All right, let's head out west now. Winter and St. Thomas
Another big game.
More out there in lovely Rapid City.
2 passes on the night. That was one of them.
Ground and pound all the way down the field for Winter, but not when it mattered. Brady Fritz to Sam Kruger for the touchdown, 15 yards. It was 8-0 Warriors after the 2-point conversion. The Cavaliers answered on the ground. Ryan Wojcik, 20 yards down to the Winter 2, and he would get to finish what he started right here.
Good thing he has big shoulders because he's going to be carrying that team a lot this year.
8-7 at that point. Second quarter, Warriors stick with their bread and butter, and it pays off with Kruger. Picks his way through the Cavs defense into the end zone.
So this was back and forth early, Jay.
Yeah, it was
of course, right as we left.
Tight into the fourth quarter, Jason, but Winter scored 20 unanswered in that final frame. They win it 36-7.
Stay with us in zone coverage. We talked to Dylan Corbett, who called the game on radio and told us a little bit about how this all unfolded.
All right, so that's that. Now let's go to Dell Rapids. Another good matchup here. Dell's quarterback, Austin Henry. Long touchdown run here on 4th and 12. It was the last play of the first quarter, and it was the only score of that opening frame. 7-0 Dells after 1.
Austin Henry, he's going to pitch at Wichita State, by the way.
But this is Colin Rentz here. His backup getting in on the action, finds Landon Rusink for the touchdown. That makes it 13-0 Court. Little smugness for the camera. I like it. Lennox coming back after Dell's TB run by Colby Mason. Brandon Fodness, 66 yards to Stephen Christian to make it 21-6
Lennox
at
did
the
that.
half.
They did that all year last year. Chucked the ball in the air, and it looks like they've got some weapons to be able to do that again this year.
Orioles threatening again here, but Henry picked off by Brandon Fodness at the goal line. That was the second INT of the game for Henry, and it was costly. 21-6 still there in the third quarter after a Lennox touchdown made it 21-12. Dells, a 7-minute drive to ice the game, capped by a 1-yard touchdown run by Mason. That made it 28-12. Lennox did score on the last play of the game to cut into the deficit, but Dell Rapids wins this game tonight by a score of 27-8, and the celebration was on in Dells.
Dells played so many close games last year. This was kind of a close game too, but they learned how to win these close games, and I'll tell you what, they've got the confidence, they got the swag, but Lennox, don't count them out so easily. They're going to be a team to hang around this year.
Well, the Warriors off to a 1-0 start. Let's hear from their quarterback, Austin Henry.
There's a huge difference between starting off on a loss and starting off high on a win, but we got to stay humble and we got to keep going hard in practice every day and just do the little things because they'll add up in the end of it. We'll be good.
Oh, you heard him say it there, Jane. They got to stay humble, and this is a team that got disappointed last year in the playoffs. You think that's fueling them right now?
Well, these two teams were very different in the playoffs last year. Lennox took off in the playoffs. Dell Rapids lost, and he's right. They got to stay down to earth here, but Austin Henry taking that quarterback position really helps because last year he played a little bit, and then he also had Colin Rentz a little bit. They got a lot of good athletes, but to see a guy like Henry take charge at the huddle and then be able to use the Rentzes all over the field, I really like the makeup of this team.
It just, if you could settle on one guy, it really helps. And there's a lot of teams that make the two-guy thing work, and we saw his backup come in tonight and throw a touchdown.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dells gets the win tonight. And we're going to step away real quick, but we're coming back with North Dakota highlights. Jody Norstead will join us when we come back. You're watching Varsity Sports Live.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by South Dakota State University and Avera Orthopedics.
And welcome back to Varsity Sports Live. Jay Elson, Jason Adair down here in our Sioux Falls studios, and just ran down the night in South Dakota high school football. We're going to shift our focus north now as we bring in Jody Norstead from West Fargo. That's cute. You've got 2 helmets on your desk. We have 5 here in Sioux Falls. Well, how did you settle on those 2, Jody?
Good question, guys. I'm glad you asked. Well, Century going to be repping on national TV tomorrow. The defending 3A champs taking on Bismarck Legacy. Andrew Langdon recently signing with, or verbally committing to Kansas State. So we'll put the Century Patriots on display. And the Grant County Flasher Storm picked up a big win last week. Could they move to 2-0 in a tough matchup against Beach tonight? We have highlights here coming up. But let's get into this, guys. North Dakota high school football back in Class 3A and Class 2A. In the Class 3A level, remember, no non-conference games, no WDA versus EDC. So we jump right into a big conference slate. And let's lead it off with our game of the night on Midcoast Sports Network. You watched it. Shanley taking on South. And a little bit of trickeration right off the bat, but it is intercepted by Jack Corbell, and then Shanley runs it in. Aiden Devine gets in for a 7-0 Shanley lead. Then an 11-yard touchdown pass. Peyton Kessel to Cam Archigo, a converted basketball player. And then this one is intercepted. A big night for John Gores. That's a 70-yard pick six. This was the highlight of the night, though. Bakar Fula making everybody look silly like Barry Sanders out there. 26-yard touchdown run. That cut it to a 14-12 Shanley lead. Then it's Gores again, this time on a kick return. He takes it to the house. That makes it 21-12 Shanley. Emmett Kenny, one of the best kickers in the country, makes it 24-12 at the break. Then Cooper Mattern, a 9-yard rushing score, makes it 31-12. Game's getting out of hand, right? Kessel trying to get his team back into it. Braden DeKaiser with a pick six. That makes it 37-12. And then Bakar Fula says, I got another highlight left in me. A kick return for a touchdown. Look at him go. Gets by Kenny, and he's off to the races. But here comes Shanley again. Here comes Gores again. Number 22 in the end zone for the 3rd time. Rushing this time. And then it's Kessel out to Connor Wolf. They're just not going down easily. 43-26, that makes it. Then it's Mattern to DeKaiser. That kind of puts the nail in the coffin. Makes it 50-26 Deacons. And they go on to win it 50-34. John Gores, the Swiss Army knife. A kick return for a touchdown, an interception return for a touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. We spoke with him after the game.
I wasn't expecting, I mean, that's stuff you kind of dream about the night before, but I wasn't expecting to get 3 touchdowns in each facet of the game, so that's just amazing.
Injury update, South's Enoch Sibamana, who was injured in that game. A dislocated elbow is what we're hearing from Brian Sean. Last year's EDC champ and Class 3A runner-up, Cheyenne hosting Red River. The scoring opens on the sweep to Gage Anderson, who dives for the pylon from 26 yards out. Puts the Mustangs up 7-0 late in the first. Next possession for the Mustangs. And Barika Penu, the EDC's leading rusher from last year, gets the toss from Grant Workentine. And look at Penu. Different number, same moves, and boy, try to tackle a Mustang. It's not easy. 46 yards on this play. 2 plays later, Penu is going to get it again and dragging defenders into the end zone. Holy smokes. Nothing changes with the NDSU commit. 14-0. Then a poor snap here on the punt is going to result in a safety for Red River, making it 14-2. Halfway through the second quarter now, Penu breaks away 35 yards to the house. His second touchdown makes it 20-2. Yeah, that's a real score. Then Penu going to get the ball again, and guess what happens? I mean, this guy, I don't know what he was doing in the offseason, but he got himself in even better shape than he was last year when he led the EDC in rushing and led Cheyenne all the way to the Dakota Bowl. Another touchdown. Penu showing his line some love afterwards. That's what it's all about in high school football. You thought he was done? Penu on the sweep gets his 4th touchdown of the first half. That makes it 34-2, which would be the score at the half. That concluded the scoring for the most part. Red River had a touchdown in the 4th to make it 34-9 the final, but a big night from Penu leads the way.
I was just on my offensive line. They're giving me holes, and the easiest part is just running through them and running hard. So shout out to the offensive line, just putting out good blocks.
Let's hop out west. Eager to learn about these two teams. Mandan hosting Minot. Guessing both will be contending for playoff spots. First game for new Magi head coach Chauncey Hendershot. Not a good start here. Mandan scores. Garrett Schaefbauer powers ahead, makes it 7-zip. Then Mandan caps a 99-yard drive with a 1-yard plunge by Olin Helstengard from the fullback spot, makes it 13-0. Next drive, Minot answers. Trevor Emke rolls out and finds Tegan Kinchin in the end zone from 21 yards out. And it's 13-7 the lead is cut to. Inside of 2 minutes left in the half, Minot not done. Emke, the quick out to Hunter Rizuka out of the backfield, and he scampers in for the score down the sideline, making things interesting. 14-13 Minot. Mandan comes right back though. Jace Lohman had some extensive playing time filling in the past. Well, now he's a senior. He hits Trey Teets sneaking behind the secondary. 52 yards to Pater, 20-14 Mandan at the half. Fourth quarter is where Mandan seals it. Lohman to Anthony Johnson. The pass, the catch, wide open over the middle, and Mandan wins it 32-14. So a big win for the Braves on opening night. Bismarck out visiting Williston. The Demons have dominated the Coyotes, winning 18 straight, but last year was just a 2-score game. Coyotes hoping to spring a week 1 surprise. Well, so much for that. Isaiah Hughes goes 28 yards to Pater to make it 7-0 Demons right away. Second drive of the game. Hughes is loose. Boy, this guy is a tough cat to bring down, tough guy to catch. 18 yards score, 14-0 Bismarck. Jack Steckler gonna score on this beautiful run. Find some daylight, great blocking in front of him. And goodbye, Mr. Steckler. 44 yards, makes it 28-0 Demons in the first, and you can put that one to bed. Bismarck High rolls in its opener over Williston, 49-7 on the road. Grafton, fresh off a season-opening win against Oak Grove, playing up a class tonight and taking on the defending champs from Class 2A, Hillsboro-Central Valley. Burrow's opening the year with kind of a reshaped roster. Early third, HCV up 13-0. Sam Preston looking to pass. He's hit as he's trying to throw. Jose Sanchez recovers the fumble too. Then the ensuing drive for Grafton. They give it to Damon Reyes, but it's a halfback pass that goes awry. Reyes is picked off by Parker Gallagher for the Burros. Early season football, folks, at its finest. A little bit sloppy, but that field looking sharp up in Buxton. Randy Vegan Field, of course. Legendary. HCV still up 13-0 now. It's Burrows punting, and it gets blocked by Edgar Rios, a 2-time All-State running back doing damage on special teams is Rios. And then after a scoreless third quarter, HCV trying to put a drive together. Preston, the new quarterback in town. They've had some great athletes up in HCV over the years. He finds Nathan Rage on 3rd and 16 for a huge conversion. And that's all Hillsboro-Central Valley needed to do down the stretch, convert. They hold on to win it 19-0 over Grafton. So the Spoilers giving them a tough one, but not a lot of offense in this one. Kindred, another 2A versus Class A showdown. The Vikings opening their season against Northern Cass. The Jags trying to shake off last week's loss to powerhouse Langdon Area-Edmore-Munich. Kindred, well, they graduated a large senior class last year. In the first, Max McQuillan fakes a handoff, takes it up the middle for the score, makes it 7-zip. Later in the first, McQuillan gets to show off the arm, puts it up to the big man, Ethan McKinney, pulls it in for 6. Great start for the Vikings. McKinney, one of those big-time players to watch. Hunter Elmer is trying to give the Jaguars some momentum, runs out to his left, and scrambles for a big gain. Jags would turn it over, though, on downs. And the Vikings take advantage of the turnover on downs. Elijah Heinrich takes the handoff up the middle, parts a bunch of Jaguars, gets in from 15 out. He was working hard all night. It's 22-zip, home team loving it. In the second out, Jack Metzger is in for Almaraz, who got injured on defense. He throws it up to Colby Vanderwall, who makes a great catch on the sideline. Colby Vanderwall ran over a Langdon Area-Edmore-Munich defender last week. There he makes a highlight reel catch. Kindred gets the ball back. McQuillan takes the option right, pitches to Troy Heinrich, who goes 60 yards to the house, pumping the arms. Look at the run. 36-0 home team. Late in the second now, McQuillan throws a screen to Eli Heinrich, who takes it down the sideline. Kindred having a lot of fun tonight in its opener. They roll easily over Northern Cass, 49-6. The Vikings off to a 1-0 start. Let's go to 9-man, where my preseason number 1, Linton-HMB, hosted South Border, renaming the field tonight too to honor a legend. The Lions didn't play last week because they ended up co-oping with their week 1 opponent, Strasburg-Zeeland. We start in the first. Lions opening drive. Trey Jacob carries it in, gets the touchdown. It's up 8-0 for the Lions. Opening drive for the Mustangs. takes them to the second as they hand off to James Schumacher, and the sophomore powers it in. Mustangs down just 8-6. After a pair of punts, the Lions strike back Lucas Schumacher. Boy, this player is something to watch. He was my 9-man preseason player of the year. He can pass it, and as you can see right here, yeah, he's got some wheels too. 70 yards, an emphatic touchdown by number 10, and Linton-HMB rolls 54-14, a 40-point win on a magical night for the Linton-HMB Lions. Let's take a look at this next matchup. Two teams that'll be battling the Lions for that Region 4 title. Grant County Flasher hosting Beach. Mike Zier and Jamie Krenz, a couple of successful head coaches, 1-0 start so far. Tyson Mattern, a 3-yard touchdown run, 2-pointer good, beat you up 8-0. Then it's Tevin Dietz coming in for a 2-yard touchdown run. These aren't pretty, but they're touchdowns. I'll give you that, 14-0. Jace Freeze, oh, he knows how to sling it. Jace looking for little brother. Hey, little brother, where are you? I'm just going to point, and I'm going to sling it to Javin. Oh, boy. Just like they did in the backyard growing up, right, Mom? 14-6. Beach's lead is cut almost in half. Storm fans happy about that. That's Freeze's parents, actually. Leighton Woodbury intercepts Beach on this next drive. Tevin Dietz picked off as Woodbury gets a nice return here, too. And then Jace Freeze, next play right after the interception, the pass to Thomas Bryant looking downfield. Boy, he's going to put up a lot of passing yards. His arm is going to be tired at the end of these games. Freeze, then another TD pass to brother Javin. His time expires right at the half. We're tied at 14. Freeze ends up 11 of 17, 263 yards and 3 touchdowns. Here he gets one on the ground, and this cuts it to a 22-20 Beach lead. Beach does go on to win it, though, 30-26. Mattern, who we showed early in that contest, ends up with 37 carries for 295 yards.
But overall, we did great as a team.
Let's take a look at Fargo North taking on West Fargo. This game, a lot of back and forth. Unfortunately, don't have the shot sheet for this one, so we're just going to try to meander our way through this. West Fargo with a turnover. Then it's the new quarterback there strolling on in. That quarterback, I know his name. Peyton Jancy with a 1-yard touchdown run makes it 7-0. Then North trying to fight its way back into this. And this one ends up being 14-6 late. North taking the lead here. And here's a punt for West Fargo. Let's watch what happens, because I haven't seen these highlights yet, so I'm watching it live with you. Punting it down to the end. Carson Hagerly trying to grab it. Stops it at the 1. How about that for a nice special teams play for the Packers? Then West Fargo trying to get it in here. Seth Nyhop, this is a 9-yard touchdown catch. West Fargo up 14-6, leading North. At this point, the teams had combined for 6 turnovers. Adam Rowland, the head coach of North, probably not liking that. Then North is going to score here late. There's a long pass play for the Spartans down inside the red zone. And then I believe this is Mason Lockwood's touchdown run. Hammering his way in past West Fargo players. This is with 25 seconds left. So the Spartans trail West Fargo 14-12 at this point. So they're going to go for 2 and try to tie this game, put it into overtime. Carter Hansen, though, with the sack on the Spartans. And how about that finish for the Packers? I know we've kind of pieced that together on the fly, but Carter Hansen makes the sack and wins it for West Fargo, 14-12. An exhilarating finish there between the Packers and Spartans. Let's get some more 9-man highlights. A pair of 1-0 teams and squaring off in Mayville's Mayport CG welcome Wyndmere-Lidgerwood to town. Sawyer Satcham, Preston Bonenstingle, a couple of great ones to watch in this one. Third player of the game, Satcham with a 40-yard bomb to Logan Kruger for the game's opening score. 2-pointer good. It's 8-0. Still first quarter. Handoff now to Ethan Bergstrom. Remember, they had Sammy Satcham that was so good last year? Well, I think this Ethan Bergstrom cat, he's going to be pretty good too. Meandering his way through that Wyndmere-Lidgerwood defense, and then on the next play, why not just give it back to number 6? He's going to race around the outside this time, and look at the fans out there, socially distancing. It's a whole different era this year in North Dakota high school football, but love to see that. Bergstrom racing to the outside, makes it 14-0 at that point. This one gets crazy, but the Patriots do pull out a 48-42 victory to improve to 2-0. Well, how about that slate of games? A fun one tonight between Fargo South and Shanley. We kicked it off in style with a bunch of highlight reel plays. Shanley putting up 50 points in that victory. So congrats to the Deacons. Congrats to all of our winners tonight. We'll wrap it up with a little more zone coverage coming up next. You're watching Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Avera Orthopedics and South Dakota State University.
Boy, I'm really wondering who's going to get one of these this week. This is our game ball, so if you saw a good stat of highlights, highlight stats, whatever, send them in if an individual had a big game, like John Gores having 3 touchdowns in 3 different ways, or Barika Penny with 4 rushing touchdowns in that game. So make sure to tune that in. Quickly though, Shanley with the victory over South, 50-34. I mentioned Enoch Sibumana left that game with a dislocated shoulder is what we're hearing. Tough break for him. A dislocated elbow, I should correct myself. So tough break for him. But Shanley with the victory, and Troy Mattern had to feel extra special coaching against his former team in Fargo South and getting that win after a loss last year.
Anytime, you're playing a high school football game, you expect all three phases of the game to step up. But I couldn't be more proud of our kids, especially with what happened last year. We needed to start fast. And again, we didn't know how it was going to happen, but the way this game happened, to be able to get big special teams plays and a couple pick sixes on the defense side of the ball were huge. And again, huge momentum swings for our team. We just needed that big play, and we got it early in the second quarter, which kind of spurred us into the rest of the game.
And South showed some explosiveness in that game. So I think both these teams offensively are going to be all right. Now, when you give up 50 points or if you give up 34 points, your defense needs to work on some things. Cheyenne, that wasn't an issue. They only allowed 9 points to Red River. The Mustangs with a big 34-9 victory. It looks like they will be the top dogs once again in the EDC. They flexed their muscle behind Barika Penu's big night. Here's Jeremy Newton after that big win for the Mustangs.
Happy with it, and it turns out we needed it because on defense, they're so explosive. Coach Krenz is, I feel, one of the best coaches in the state.
That was Mike Zier. We're jumping the gun a little bit. Let's see if we can get it queued up. I believe we have Jeremy Newton.
A long ways to go. We made some mistakes. They're young and had some issues that they're going to work out too. So, but we still got some things we need to improve on, and hopefully we can do that as the week comes on.
We still have some things to improve on as well, and you're finding that out. This is week 1 for us as well. But here's Mike Zier, Beach head coach, a 30-26 win over Grant County Flasher. So I guess I can take this helmet off here, and maybe I can replace it with a Beach one if Mike wants to send one in. But here's what Mike had to say after that big Region 4 win over Grant County Flasher.
Well, really happy with it, and it turns out we needed it because on defense, they're so explosive. Coach Krenz is, I feel, one of the best coaches in the state, really we had a tough time covering them. So what we wanted to do, our game plan was to come in and control the clock as best we could, and I thought we did a nice job of that. We only punted there one time in the game, and anytime you can do that, that's a good thing.
And Coach Zier, of course, talking about Tyson Mattern, I mentioned it, but 37 carries for 295 yards. Another kid that might be nominated for one of these, a game ball in his future. Guys, that was fun. It was fun to be back out there calling a high school football game. We had some spectacular plays. Bakar Fula's run was absolutely insane and blowing up on social media. But fun to get week 1 under the belts here on Varsity Sports Live.
Hey, absolutely.
Great job, Jody. You're in mid-season form.
I appreciate you not calling me out for screwing up the count on our helmets. We actually have 6 of them here.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Jandy must have taken one home
it's
on
not
his
like I get
break.
It's not like I get paid to notice stuff, but
get out of here. Finish it up, guys. Take it home.
Good job, week one. All right. Good stuff from Jody up there in North Dakota. All right, how about South Dakota, Jason, as we move the zone coverage south here?
Yeah.
And a couple of games that we paid special attention to. One of them was in Dell Rapids tonight. Wanted to see how that Warrior team was going to come out, and they came out very strong.
Dell Rapids, I voted them number 1 in 11A. They came out strong, let off the gas just a little bit. I'm interested to see what Jordan Huska has to say about his team's performance.
Defense played well tonight. Hopefully we'll get to film and clean some things up and be better moving forward. But for a first night out, I was proud of both sides of the ball. I thought both sides of the ball stepped up when they needed to. starting off the year with a win is always big. We've got some inexperienced guys, talented guys, but guys that we need to come along pretty quickly here. So to start off well and build some confidence, hopefully will be beneficial for us moving forward.
One guy that really started off well, of course, quarterback Austin Henry. We talked about him already. He played very well tonight, and giving that offense some comfortability is the right word, I think, and just consistency maybe at that quarterback spot as well.
Exactly, and he's strong-armed and he can run the ball. He gives them a little bit more dimension on offense. And then Kobe Mason, he's getting it done on both sides of the ball. You saw him with an interception there. He's getting the short yards done. It wasn't super comfortable. They've got some room to improve, but I really like what I saw at Dell Rapids tonight.
Move it way out west now. Winter and St. Thomas More. Pretty good rivalry traditionally between those two programs.
These are usually the best opponents each other play throughout the season.
And easily the best game out west tonight. And you look at the final score, 36-7. Winter gets the win on the road at St. Thomas More. But that really is a little misleading. St. Thomas More hung tough in this game.
Yeah, they played really well. And I said earlier today, if they hang with Winter, that's going to be a moral victory. And, I mean, we're not into moral victories, but it really will be. And they did for 3 quarters. I talked to Dylan Corbett, who called the play-by-play on this game, and kind of asked him, what did this mean for the rest of the season for both of these two teams?
St. Thomas More had some major question marks about their offense after even a dominating win over Hot Springs. So I came away impressed, thinking that the week-to-week preparation and improvement that St. Thomas More had on offense was very impressive. Now, they met the Winter Warriors in week 2, right? Week 1 officially, and it was just tough. I mean, the Warriors are for real. Fritz, if he wanted to, if he was in a Mike Leach spread offense, he'd be, one of the top quarterbacks you see, but he's only throwing 4 times a game and making the most of it because Coach Akers keeping it in his back pocket.
Officially, he threw the ball 2 times, completed them both, averaged about 40 yards per completion. Brady Fritz is an animal. He's a really good athlete, and they don't really tap into him until, they need it, which is hardly ever.
It's a wonderful luxury to have, kind of an ace up your sleeve when games get really, really important at the end of the year when you're trying to win championships, which Winter has done some of here in recent history. So, yeah, good win for them tonight on the road at St. Thomas More, 36-7, the final in that one. All right, that does it for zone coverage tonight here on Varsity Sports Live. Going to be back with the rundown, one play from every game. That's coming up next. Coming back on our rundown from tonight, Sioux Falls O'Gorman opens defense of its 11 AAA title.
One of the many highlights. Good start for the champs.
43-0 over Rapid City Stevens. Washington had a battle with Aberdeen Central tonight.
There was a battle, but Tyus Hansen came up with 2 big catches, and that's a nice touchdown pass by Max Thompson.
1-2 battle in Canton. T-Area survives a late comeback attempt from the Seahawks.
Yeah, Austin Lake led the offense to a nice night in a defensive battle.
Lennox made this a game late, but Austin Henry and Dell Rapids off to a good start with a 27-18 victory.
Yeah, we know Austin can pitch. He can also play quarterback. Good job by the Warriors.
A lot of defense in Colton tonight, but Sioux Valley survives 12-6 on the road.
Yeah, this one was a definite slobber knocker.
Out west, we just talked about it, the Winter Warriors, 36-7. Had to pull away late, though.
Yeah, it was Sam Kruger there getting one of his 2 touchdowns on the night.
Bridgewater, Emory, Ethan quieted down some of that conversation about POINT-JEFFERSON tonight. The Seahawks for real again.
Yeah, they really totaled it up. Look at that smooth move there on the pickup.
34-6, the final tonight over the Huskies. Up north, the game you saw live here on Midco Sports Network. Fargo Shanley in a track meet with Fargo South, 50-34.
Yeah, and it wasn't really even that close, was it, Jay?
Not really. West Fargo Cheyenne, 34-9.
Yeah, Jeremy Newton's crew, they're not the new kids on the block anymore. They're getting it done year in, year out.
West Fargo had to win it late, clinch it late against Fargo North. The Spartans made a game, but come up a little bit short, 14-12. Meanwhile, Mandan, a big win over Minot out west.
You gotta love putting points on the board early like this. Get that offense rocking.
Bismarck looks to be a heavy hitter once again in the WDA, 49-7 at Williston tonight.
Yeah, a good warm-up for Bismarck. We'll see what happens when they play another ranked team.
Hillsboro-Central Valley blanks Grafton 19-0. The Spoilers did give them a game, though.
Yeah, this was a good game between two different teams in two different classes. You never know what to expect, but couldn't put up any points for Grafton.
Kindred rolls over Northern Cass 49-6.
I have a feeling Kindred's going to make some noise in their class this year as well.
Mayport CG, a back-and-forth battle with Wyndmere-Lidgerwood, 48-42 the final up there.
I love seeing 90 points on the board, Jay. Love it.
Offense is fun. Beach in a game that Jody was excited about over Grant County Flasher. Linton-HMB, a 40-point victory over South Border at home.
Nice 70-yard scamper for the Linton quarterback. Jody's preseason player of the year, getting it done.
Yeah, 54-14 the final tonight. And that is a wrap on the rundown for tonight. Games from South Dakota, games from North Dakota. Well, we're a week in here, officially a week in both of these states.
We got one more big game, though, Saturday night. Tune in.
Big
number
one
versus number 2. It's
on Midcoast Sports Network, Sioux Falls, Roosevelt, and Brandon Valley. For Jason Andera, producer Travis Wagaman, I'm Jay Elson. Thanks for watching Varsity Sports Live. See you, everybody.